Okay, let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have made it to our next destination, the beautiful Kaibab National Forest, just south of the Grand Canyon. So we are getting ready to walk around and we'll go show you some things on this little camping area. It's not little, but in this camping area, it's really nice, really quiet, really peaceful. So the pup is hooked up. Oop, he's under the bus. We'll go for a walk. Come on. Here he goes. All right, we're gonna go for a walk. All right, we're gonna go for a walk. Get the pup all hooked up. He's ready to go. And we're gonna walk around this area and see what we got here. A lot of ponderosa pines. It's a big ponderosa pine forest. It's the Kaibab National Forest. I don't know how many exactly acres, but it covers a lot of acreage and around the Grand Canyon and a little south, and I think a little over towards Utah. But it's a lot of big forest. So we're gonna walk around here and give you a couple views. It's peaceful, it's quiet. It's got some huge ponderosa pines. Go up that one there. That's a big one. You can tell they've come in and kind of clear cut some of the area for some underbrush and growth cut. There's some smaller trees regrowing, but there's a lot of open area that would be normally probably just nothing but trees. There's a bus back there in the campsite. Pup's got a smell of something over here he's going after. But it's a nice area. It's just real peaceful. There's only a couple neighbors around. And like I said, we're about 10 miles in the Grand Canyon. But we will not be going to the Grand Canyon for a few reasons. And one of them is I don't like crowds, big crowds. A couple of 3 or 4, people or a small crowd is fine, but I don't like big crowds. And 2, there's nothing we can do there because when you have a dog in the national parks, you're only allowed to stay in the parking lots and they can't go on most of the trails. I think the Grand Canyon, I think they can actually walk on the upper trail around the canyon, but we can do the same thing here, but just not see a big hole in the ground. And 3, the next one is you can't film in the national parks yet. Anybody who does like a YouTube or any kind of thing that makes any kind of income, which I don't, but still, they classify YouTube as a permit-only filming. So you have to have a permit to film in national parks, and the permit's like $125, and it takes up to 2 weeks to get it. So we're here now, but I think that is being changed in the legal system, because I think the House has already passed a bill that would remove that fee and let people utilize the national parks and make videos again. So I think it's I haven't heard yet, but I think it's one part of the government has passed it, waiting for the second part to look at it and maybe pass it and then put it into the legal statute. But that'd be nice. But that's another reason. And another reason is I've been there a couple times, so I've already seen the big hole in the ground, and it's a beautiful place. And everybody else has taken millions of videos from that, but you can't film inside the national park and put it on like a YouTube. So that's the reason we're doing it there. There's a road that's heading back towards the highway about a mile. There's one of the planes that's coming over. That's a bigger one. I don't know, that may be a military plane, but this is it. This is our National Park Forest Service road. So we're going to walk up here and let the pup do his business. Stretch his legs after being in the bus for a few hours. we drove up from Sedona, and this is our next stop for a couple, 3 nights before we head off to Utah. These are pretty good roads. This is probably actually better than the highway I was on coming in. It was rough, but this is the road. And I noticed one thing, and maybe somebody can tell me why or maybe how, but if you can look in the video, every dirt road I've been on is washboards. Whether in Colorado or Arizona, New Mexico, you get on a dirt road and it'll just shake you to death. Maybe, so I don't know what causes that, but yeah, washboards. That's pretty good beside that. If you had a small vehicle, maybe a motorcycle, you can get around them, but anything with the bigger vehicle, you're going to hit at least one wheel on them. Yeah, my neighbors came in. Some here. Yeah, I got some neighbors. Here they are. But look around and see. Oh, there's a squirrel. Well, can't really see it. It's kind of far off. It looks like a Abert squirrel. They move pretty quick. They're just a bigger squirrel, big bushy tails and pointed ears, bigger ears than like the gray squirrel, the red squirrel. But yep, the Abert squirrel. There, seen several of them in New Mexico. But we're just going to walk around here and see what we can find. It's nice and sunny, partly overcast. Cool. It's in the 60s. It's going to be in the 40s, 30s or 40s, maybe even 20s at night, depending on what weather forecast you look at. One said 29, one says 36. So I don't know. It's still cool, but nice. I don't know how far these roads go back, but they're all Forest Service roads, and this is National Forest. So you are welcome to camp anywhere up to 14 days in the National Forest. I think as long as you use like a designated style camp area where you have like a driveway in and out, they don't want you just pulling up, in the grass and parking there. But if you find a spot that's been used, like it's got a little driveway in it, that's fine. And 14 days. And after 14 days, they will, if somebody comes checks on you, they will ask you to leave, and you have to drive, which I don't understand this rule, but you have to drive at least 25 miles away from the place where you camped at. So I guess it's just to give other people a camping opportunity. But I don't know why you just couldn't like move to the next site or go down the road to the next road or do something, but it says 25 miles. And I think the rangers will tell you that if you see them. They'll say you got to drive 25 miles away to the next campsite, at least 25 miles, to go set up for the next campsite. This is nice out here. It's pretty quiet. We enjoy quiet and cool. Now you can tell it's been kind of cleared out some, because this would be probably more dense forest, more trees. And you can see where they've been cut. Smaller trees have been cut, and back in there some bigger trees cut. I guess it kind of helps on wildfires and maybe the expansion of the, if you catch one on fire, maybe it slows them down some. I don't know. And it also maybe get rid of a few dead ones or something. But they're nice, and do have more trees popping up every once in a while. You'll see a few more pine trees growing. Now here's a designated. This is a designated spot. It's got like a road into it, and then each one I've noticed as I'm walking around will have this little Forest Service sign that tells you the camp number, the road, and the camp number. Like this is Forest Service Road 306, and this is Camp S. So, and I think I'm in Q. I think what mine said. So I think it gets bigger, or the numbers get, the letters get bigger as you go further in. Because there's Q, R, and this is S. But I don't think all of them have that, but maybe they do. And you got some trees with some marks on them. I guess those are maybe marked for harvesting, or maybe they're safe trees not to use them. But there's a few trees you can see that have like orange stripes. That one does, and there's one way back there. I can see, you can barely see it on camera, but it's way back there. It's got orange stripes. So I'm sure there's some designation of some foresting or something in here, but I don't see any other ones that are marked. Just those two. But yeah, that's a campsite back there. It's got a couple fire rings, and you can drive in, and so it's a long way from the other campsite. You can't even see where the other campsite was. So they're spaced out pretty good, and that's the way we like it here in the National Forest. But let's go walk up towards one, and we'll show you what the area looks like back in the camping area. Now, this campsite's got some extra wood left behind, and big fire ring, nice fire ring, a lot of wood, and more bones on the ground. Somebody's arranged these in an order, and there's another bone there. So there's lots of bones, and this area that I'm in right now has about 8 or 10 campsites. You can come in and hang out all over the place here. So, and it's real, as you can see, colorful. Yeah, extra wood if you needed it. I won't be building a campfire because I don't really need one. I'm cooking inside or cook on my charcoal grill. But yep, it's a pretty one. This is a nice one. Nice wide open spot. And you can tell when it rains, this dirt turns into mud from those tire tracks right there. So this dirt is red. It's a lot of red dirt. There's a big dog prints. And yeah, this red dirt turns into really slick mud when it gets wet. So we got back over here. Big old rock against a tree. And, that's not natural. Looks like somebody left some ornamentation upon the tree itself. And a big old nail stuck into it. But it's pretty clean. I mean, everywhere I see so far, there's no trash anywhere. So everything is pretty cleaned up. That's the only thing I've seen that looks like it doesn't belong here. That nail and those plastic beads. But yeah, it's a nice area. You know, the squirrel, it could be the same one. Hopping along, getting closer. You got a rig coming in. How about that? Finally, somebody's showing up. Yeah, got some new neighbors. They're pulling in the spot we were just standing in. So they got that fifth wheel. I think they'll fit in there just fine. And walking back and notice this tree. It's been hit by lightning. You can tell when they're split like that with the bark opened up. It usually means a lightning strike. But it's all there, all the way up to the top, and we got an airplane flying over too. But yeah, it's been struck by lightning. I was in the national forest and outside of Pagosa Springs, Colorado, in the fall, and there's a tree got struck by lightning, and it wasn't very far away from where I was camped, and I heard it, and went back to look at it, and it was split wide open, and the top of the tree was blown out on the ground, and it had a big chunk of stuff missing. But, that's pretty common out in the forest. Trees are resilient. They'll go ahead and come back to life and keep on going, unless they just absolutely catch on fire or something. But yeah, he's taking that. I'll take that side over there. That's good. I have neighbors. The bus is right back there, and they are just kind of they're going to be way back over here. So it tells you the distance between all the campsites. You can, even with the thinning of the trees, you've got a long distance between each campsite and don't really see neighbors or hear them. We're going to head back to the bus and see what's next. Let's go, pup, back down our driveway. And we're back for day number 2 in the Kaibab National Forest. A bit breezy today, not bad. It's temperature's going to be about 67. So let's show you around the camp real quick. There's not much to it, but there's a fire ring, real big fire ring. A little extra firewood if you need it. My camp is basically that. I've got a table and a charcoal grill and a charcoal starter. These are the best things, these charcoal starters right here. If you ever need to use charcoal, there's no mess. You just put some paper and some stuff underneath it, put the charcoal on top, and light it. And there's no lighter fluid, so you get no lighter fluid taste and no petroleum taste. But we're going to do some burgers tonight. I'm going to have burgers, and I'm going to make Zan a couple of pork chops. He can have one tonight, one tomorrow. And the reason why he gets 2 pork chops, right now he's right over there in our chair. We because it's you get cool, you go to the sun. That sun shuffle. The reason he's getting the pork chops is I bought those before I went to California and stayed in the motel for 10 days, and I left them in the refrigerator, forgot about it, and after 10 days they were how you say questionable. They were they're kind of gray colored, so didn't want to throw them away, but I'm going to cook them up and let the dog have them because they're great. I mean, really thick and got a good bone, and he'll get a minute or 2 out of them before he eats them through. But so he gets a pork chops tonight, or a pork chop tonight, and I'll get a burger. And there's the bus. We slept really good last night. This is really here out in the desert. I'm not sorry. I've been in the desert too long. Out here in the Kaibab National Forest is just dark. Oh, it's so beautiful. Just there's about a less than half a moon last night, and so there was just little moonlight, but the stars were beautiful. There's not much light pollution around this area because the Grand Canyon is about 10 miles that way, and the next town is about 60 miles behind me to the interstate. So in Williams, Arizona. So it's pretty quiet out here. There's not much cell service, but it's quiet. It's nice. And been noticing today and yesterday while I was here that the Grand Canyon Airport is just same way, right over there. So a lot of small planes come over every once in a while. I guess sightseers, and they'll circle around and they'll come up through here, and they'll basically will come right over the bus and disappear off into the Grand Canyon. But it's not bad. They're just a few minutes and they go past. But yeah, I slept really good last night. It was 46 degrees in the bus this morning, and that's comfortable for me. I just threw an extra blanket on the bed. The pup over there was really liking it because he likes cold weather. And I usually don't use the heat in the bus unless it's really, really cold. And I'll use the heat whenever, like when I shower, because I can block off the back third of the bus where the shower and the bed is and turn on the diesel heater. And it warms up that area without warming up the rest of the bus and all the windows and the front glass and everything else. So that works good. And I like to make it comfortable for Zen because he does like the cool. And he's been enjoying this this 50 and 60-degree weather up here, laying in this nice cool dirt of the forest. But there are a couple small cacti up here, a couple prickly pears. So it is like a high desert. We're at 6,600 feet, and these little pine trees are everywhere. That's really cool. I'm glad. And if those who don't know that, of course, the pine cones, come off the pine trees, but I'm not for sure for certain, but I know that one way the pine cones are basically the seeds for the pine trees, and one way they resprout is they need an excessive amount of heat, like a wildfire, to basically, let me pick one up here, basically pop the pine cone open and get the seed out of the inside of it. I think there's a seed in there, but they burn and they explode, and that seed will then fall to the ground, or it's already on the ground. It will pop open, and then a new pine tree will grow in its place. So that's one way that Mother Nature repopulates her natural surroundings. But it takes a wildfire or something really strong to make it open. And I just noticed this tree here. This one's had a rough time. Look at that. It's leaning over, but it's still growing. But that's not the kind they make telephone poles out of. But they do make telephone poles out of the pine trees, as you can see why, because they're just straight up and down. And most of your telephone poles, I think, will be out of pines of some sort. These are a little darker, so I can't tell if they've had maybe a controlled burn come through and burn some of them, but it's just nice out here. You can see the darkness of the pine tree. It may not be a controlled burn, but it is kind of dark all the way up, and some little sticky stobs sticking out. Those are dangerous if you happen to back into them. I've done that before. Just kind of lean into a tree and you back into one of those. You really know it in just a hurry. But yeah, there's the Kaibab National Forest. And this is our campsite. All around there's the bus. The nearest neighbor, as you can see way over there, is a reflection of their fifth wheel. And pretty good distance between the both of them. And the other neighbors are further away to the east. There's two rigs over there we saw this morning when we were on our walk. But they're way back over there. But there's the bus. There's the campsite. There's my director's chair and the dog. So we're going to enjoy this. We'll be here at least another night, maybe two. I don't know. I'm in no hurry to get to Utah. I've only got a few hours away, but I can check in at the Utah camp area anytime after the 1st of May, which is already here. And they have a reserved campsite for the camp hosts that are coming in, so we can actually stay in a campground that's not open yet to the public. And I may do that if I get tired of the forest, but it'd be more forest. But it's just so nice, peaceful. And there has been, I've seen one car and one motorcycle, and the neighbors when they came in. That's it in the last 24 hours that have come by this road. So we're gonna sit down here and enjoy some of the Kaibab peacefulness. Zen already is. He is loving it. And I hear a helicopter coming over. They do have helicopter flights too, and it's a little further off in the distance, but it's heading towards the Grand Canyon. Everybody's got to see that big hole in the ground, and I guess it's better to see it from the air. Here's something else I noticed in the campsite. I was walking around. Something that you see out here in the forest, at least I've seen several of them, is animal bones. And this one you can tell had been here a while. It was probably, I don't know, it could say a small elk or it could be a deer, but the way the top part looks like it might have been a small elk, but that's an awful large um, head there. I think it's the head. I'm not for sure. I don't know my bones that well, but I would say it's either a deer or an elk. So there you go. And there's scattered bones throughout. Now I did find a fairly fresh hoof over there in the woods, but I'm not worried about these because they've been here a while. The thing I really look for if you find a campsite that has fresh bones. Now this is not fresh, as you can tell. Fresh bones, which probably means it's like a bear or mountain lion or something, and you may want to avoid those areas because that means they're going to come back and take care of their carcasses. But that one's been there a long time. It dried up and fallen apart. But there's just bones scattered all over. So I don't know whether this is just in like a elk or deer hunting area, or whether that's natural. They died from some reason, or whether they were, maybe they died of lead poisoning. I don't know, but no big deal. And I was walking around and I saw this tree here too. I pointed out earlier a different tree that I saw. I would say this is a big tree and it's leaning over, but I would also think that the way this tree is scarred all the way up, it was a lightning strike because it has got one groove all the way to the top on this side, and it looks like part of the top is missing on this side. But it suffered a lightning strike, and I would probably think that the guy behind it, which is on the ground and has rotted, decayed away, may have been a victim of the lightning strike. It may have, hit one tree and the other tree died and fell over. But there's a lot of them out here as I walk around. I can see, some dead trees over there, and there's a standing dead tree back there. But there probably a lot of them are lightning strikes, and that's how a lot of, like I said, the forest fires begin. If they get hit by lightning and they catch on fire, and the fire gets in these canopies up here, these trees, and it just, with the breeze behind it, it goes and goes and goes. So hopefully we won't have any problem. There's no rain in the forecast for the whole week. We're just going to be here for a couple of days, and then we're heading out. But that's what I want to show you on the campsite. Okay, we're getting ready to start cooking some dinner. I'm going to show you this charcoal lighter. Basically, just the bottom down here is just full of paper and things, and then up here is just charcoal. I've got a couple little chunks of wood that I picked up off the ground here and put in there, but you basically put in there and light it, and it does the rest, just like that. You can see it's already smoking. Creates a chimney effect, so the flame and the heat comes up and it just ignites that charcoal, and it's ready in about 15 minutes. And once your coals get good enough in this cooker, you can see they'll be starting to glow. We'll just dump them into my grill. Just got the nice handle on it. You just dump them in there and let them heat everything up. And then put the lid on top and we're ready to cook. Put that on there and put this, and that's it. I'm ready to get my burgers on there. And here's what I'm having tonight. Got a couple of burgers, and in the foil are some cut up potatoes I basically cook on there. One of my favorite things, I just take a potato, cut it up in pieces, add a little salt, pepper, and some oil, and cook them on the grill. They're great, and I'll have enough for 2 nights. And down here is Zen's pork chops, and yes, they were definitely on the going out the bad side because they have a smell to them. I don't know if I can get the smell out of the bus. I cooked him in the bus because he has an upset stomach when he eats smoked food, so I cooked him in the bus, and I should have cooked him outside because they have a stink to them, but he'll like them. I know he will because he's found a deer leg over there in that bush, and he was drug it out and was going to chew on it, and I'm like, nope, not a deer leg. So we're going to have pork chops. Wish me luck, or wish him luck. And here we have it, dinner for the night. Some baked potatoes baked on the grill, and a hamburger patty, and a salad with some poppy seed dressing, water, and that's it. We're going to leave it here. So bon appetit, and enjoy the view, everybody. We'll see everybody on down the road.